Anyway, I want to show you a really cool telephone from India. Now, I got this telephone back in, I think, 2014 at the Lancaster Telephone Show. This is a ITI, Indian Telephone Industries telephone model 671. So it's 671. And this telephone was made for the IP&T, the Indian Post and Telegraphs Department. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they work just like the GPO. They rented your telephone through the post office, hence Indian Posts and Telegraphs. So the ITI, they were founded in 1948 as a departmental factory, and then in 1950 they became a public company, and they still are operating today. They still operate out of Bangalore, India. However, they work with 6 manufacturing companies to this day, though they are called ITI Limited now, so they had a bit of a name change. So you can see for my collectors over in the UK, it looks a lot like a 700 series telephone. I'm not sure if they made these telephones that are licensed. They can't be, because a lot of the workings are very, very different in these telephones. Now, this telephone has traditional wiring on the inside, so there is no printed circuit board. So it's all everything's mounted in with screw terminals, just like a GPO 706. And it's got a plastic bottom on it. So it's a 1982. So I would say it's a early-ish model of this telephone. I know they had those black telephones that were from the 60s and 70s. So they made these telephones, given that they look a lot like a 706, way into the 80s. So as far as design, I would think that they were a bit behind, because the 06s were in the 50s and up into the 60s. But these are the telephones that were pretty common in the 80s. Now, I can tell you why this is an early-ish model. Now, the earlier models had the surrounding ring, and they're mounted very similarly to a dial surround as found on a GPO 706. They have those that metal ring that you bend the little tabs in to hold them in. And these rings are painted on the back side with the numbers printed, so that they will never get scratched off. And you can tell that the housing has been yellowed, and the color of the paint here has maintained its color throughout the years. So this phone was obviously a bit of a darker shade of green, and thanks to the sun, it's got a bit of a suntan now. And the dial has been replaced as well. The earlier dials had a matching colored finger wheel, and they had the numbers also in the center here. And I think they had numbers in the centers as well, or they had a little thing here with the little window for your number card. I can't remember. They had either one of those, and they had the little chevrons here in place of the numbers here. And the evidence is all in the logos here. This is the earlier logo for ITI with the little heart, and this is the logo that they had in the 80s, and they still have the same logo even to this day. So that's some obvious evidence of the dial replacement. Most of these telephones now have, these telephones have this dial. And the phones, the later models of these did not have a surrounding ring. And their wiring was a bit different on the inside. I think that's when they started to get the printed circuit boards. But it's a really cool phone. I'll show you around here. You can tell that this phone looks a lot like a 700 series as far as a handset. Very similar in design. And it also has the same kind of transmitter cap here with the raised lip. And then it has the ITI logo in the center. And then they have a metal carrying handle. And the screws here help you remove the housing from the base. There's another ITI logo, and then you have molded into the housing IP&T. And these phones also had black handset and line cords. Now these dials are very similar to how the Western Electric number 9 dials are situated, how they're constructed. Of course, it's all plastic though, that's the thing. These are Japanese dials, and these dials can be found on those Radio Shack Pillow Talk telephones, though the numbers aren't the same, so the parts aren't interchangeable, but the concept is very similar. This is a blank, and some of these telephones had an earthing button on there. This one happens to not have that. No damage on the phone, with the exception of a crack here at the cradle, so they might have tightened the screw a little too much and caused it to crack. Or there's too much pressure, I'm not sure. It's well preserved. I also added a little junction box with the RJ11 port so we can test it. And here's the bottom of the phone. So we have a sticker up here, Indian Post and Telegraphs Department, produced by Indian Telephone Industries, Bangalore, India. There's the evidence, February 1982, and to confirm that, I checked all the parts, and they had some that said 82/3, some had 82/2. And then here is a sticker just above the bells here that shows you how to remove the housing from the base. And of course, this is the vents for the bells. So now what I'm going to do is I will get the machine out and we will demonstrate the telephone for you all. Okay, we're back. So now I will pick up the handset for you all, give you dial tone, and we will test the transmitter here. It's working fine, as you can see the change in the light as I speak into the handset. So I'll dial a few numbers for you all. Okay, and now we will ring the telephone. I'm going to set it a little to the side here. Alright, so now pictures are coming next. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching.